Today on Star Trek, the Enterprise is diverted from their main mission. Well, if you want to get technical, that's every episode of Star Trek. Riker performs Picard Maneuver number 1. Riker performs Picard Maneuver number 2. As usual, they're always worried if the first baseman is listening. Captain DeSoto says, "Hey Will, you getting soft? That could be the most offensive 'that's what she said' comment ever. How could they say this on family TV?" "That is you" is not a sentence.
Which is you?
Which is you is not a sentence.
I disagree with.
This time, they explain why he's not getting a subspace message. And they are bringing aboard Tam Elbrun. Of course, this episode is Tin Man, and one of my personal favorites. Riker performs Picard Maneuver number 2, but I don't have it quite in order. 1 point lost for intentionally showing Deanna's butt, and 1 point lost for a medical professional telling the entire crew that their new passenger was a patient at a mental hospital. Tam Elbrun, kind of an odd, snotty character, isn't he? Data scares the living shit out of him. So Tam Elbrun calls Data the first and the second baseman. And shout out to that exchange. It shows that Tam Elbrun can't see people if he can't read their minds. Riker says, "I number 1. Tam says Picard can last for 10 minutes, and Picard says, "No, I can last for 15 minutes. Now Jean-Luc thinks he's Riker. Poor Tam Elbrun always has a headache, just like my last girlfriend, or else it's those brown contacts in his eyes that bug him. This 47 reference is a Star Trek version of a hidden Mickey. 1 point lost for opening credits 6 minutes into the show. There's really no reason to just blame Tam Elbrun for a first contact disaster because, as we've seen in Star Trek, every first contact situation is a disaster. This is a good reflection shot of the three amigos. 23 parsecs comes out to about 76 light years, which in space distance really isn't that far. So if all of them are in the conference room, that means Wesley's flying the ship again, and he never gets credit for it. It's a good thing they were observing this star collapsing, or else they would have never found Tin Man. Which is more amazing, an ancient creature that lives in space, or the fact that they always act like they'd never seen one before? In a galaxy of overpopulation, this organism could feed millions. Their mission is to see if Tin Man is edible and can be bred for consumption. They could have them grow in orbit around the Earth, and when the time comes, push them into the atmosphere, and you will have barbecued Gumto for millions for years. Their mission is to beat the Romulans at this new food source and starve them out. Picard has his back to the moving stars. These stars are not moving, so minus 1 point. And Picard is now over here, so minus 1 more point. They already want to dissect it and see what it tastes like. What cannibals. Picard Maneuver number 4. Data says I number 2. Now Tam Elbrun blames the shortstop for the Grushtev disaster. Picard Maneuver number 5. It is time for a drink.
We like to drink, 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 drink.
1 point lost for a captain's log talking down to the audience like we forgot everything during the drinking game. This is Picard Maneuver number 6. I have to admit, being born telepathic would be a terrifying experience. This show is dedicated to all those children who realized when they were smaller and people were taller, they knew right then that they were different.
When I was smaller and people were taller, I realized that I was different.
Tam Elbrun, however, was successful in finding his niche in society with meeting unusual life forms. So this really isn't a bad thing, but she talks like it is. Data knows that there are natural phenomena that can travel at warp speed, so minus 1 point. Wesley should be the one telling them that cloaking devices aren't perfect. Sometimes you can pick them up. Worf says I number 2. In reality, Deanna and Tam were secret lovers at the institution, so she came by just to get one last fling before he takes off on Tin Man. Deanna calls him the left fielder. If you want to get technical, he is out in left field.
The left fielder's name.
Why?
I just thought I'd ask you.
Tam should have grabbed Tarson by the neck and just shook him until he listened to him about the Grushtans. He's very dedicated to his work, but he always feels out of place among his own people, which a lot of people relate to. Deanna's mistake here was not telling Tam to go let Picard know he's in contact with Tin Man, so minus 1 point. And now they made it to the Beta Strongman system and see Tin Man. In reality, they're still really far away. Here they're smiling when they realize Tam's already on his way. Minus 1 point for a single set of doors on the turbolift. 1 point lost for Deanna not being in a proper uniform. Worf says I number 2. Tam's biggest problem, he doesn't know exactly what or when to tell the captain what he learned. When he gets it all out in the right order, Picard's like, damn, you're pretty good. Maybe I should fire Deanna. Wesley says I number 5, it's time for another drink.
We like to
Geordi says he will have the shields in 30 minutes. Picard's like, didn't you hear Tam Elbram? He said I wanted it in 10. Again, they got it wrong. What is not first? What is second? Data says I number 3. Down in the lab, Data's like, quit sticking your nose in my art without asking. Data has concluded that Tin Man is a living spaceship. Tam calls Data the left fielder, then questions our reason for being. Tam Elbram may have troubles adapting to the world around him, but he does acknowledge that it's very important to be different.
Different is hard, different is lonely, different is trouble for you only.
The Romulans have decided if they can't communicate with it, they're gonna kill it and eat it. This is Deanna's fault for not having Tam Elbram tell Captain Picard he's in communication with Gum-2. This whole mess would have been solved, but she didn't do it. She made the same mistake Tam Elbram did with the Garushta disaster with not being more forceful with the captain. 1 point lost here because Tin Man has the same special effects as V'ger. In a life-threatening situation, Geordi uses the slowest elevator in history. Riker says, I love you. Geordi says, I know. Dr. Crusher says, your brain activity suggests you are coming out. This is probably the worst possible time to tell somebody who already has trouble interacting with others that he might be gay. Picard is pissed, and it's all Deanna's fault. And you learn Gum-2 is massively old and has come to the star to die of loneliness. Deanna says, I love you, I love you. Tam says, I know, I know. Picard is wrong here. None of them, even Tam Elbram, knew how powerful Tin Man really is. This is Russell, which means this is Doug. Picard shows off the new star globe he bought on Amazon. Deanna senses the alien is calling him. Didn't this happen with Spock and V'ger? Deanna's worried about losing Tam to Tin Man because she hasn't done the nasty with him yet. Data says, taxpayer money paid for this mission. We can't go all the way out here and then turn around and go back empty-handed. We have to go see Tin Man. Picard's worried about Tin Man destroying a ship. Aren't they like right next door to a star-going supernova? Picard calls Data, Sir. Here come the Romulans. Data follows Picard out the door really close, just like Riker. He's trying to be an ass-kisser too. This is Picard maneuver number 6. The director told the actor portraying the Romulan, look like you got diarrhea really bad and can't wait for the scene to end. Picard threatens to destroy the alien. 1 point lost for the captain's log talking down to the audience like we forgot everything during the commercials. Picard sends Data and Deanna's like, I wanted to go on a mission. You never let me have any fun. I'm convinced they are too far away to beam in, so -1 point. Tam says, no, it sounds like you recorded a fat guy who ate a lot of pizza in here. Data and Tam both sing their favorite Mother song. Did you notice he no longer has his headache? Worf says the alien threw up a shield. I thought it was a pizza. Wesley is back from his bathroom break. Worf says, I number 4. Data says, I love you. Tam says, I know. Tam Elbram has the ability to become one with Gum-2. Data just knocks on a solid wall. Aww. Tam Elbram, who struggled his entire life to adapting to his surroundings, finally found a purpose in life, being one with a lonely living spaceship. Tam Elbram leaves Starfleet forever with Gum-2 because he'd rather be different than be the same. Riker stands right behind Picard like the little ass kisser that he is. 1 point is lost here. Tin Man would not be able to push the ships as far as the ways that they claim they did, which is 3.8 billion kilometers. 1 point lost here. At their distance, it would be about 3 hours before they saw the Flash. Data sings his favorite U2 song. This isn't true. Data can explain, but not in less than 10,000 words. Data witnessed a remarkable healing in space. Deanna saying, Data, that's so sweet. How about after this scene we fool around in the Arboretum? I think it would have been nice if they did a spin-off episode or even a comic book with Tam Elbram and Tin Man traveling the universe. Or it may be better if those stories were left to the imaginations of all those lost and lonely souls that related to Tam Elbram and the Tin Man. Meanwhile, back at the diplomatic dinner, the honored guest asked, what is this fancy dish called?
They call it Tin Man.
Peter Vogt played the Romulan. He will be back on Deep Space Nine and Voyager. Michael Cavanaugh has 160 screen credits, including T.J. Hooker, The A-Team, and Dark Shadows. And Harry Groener, who successfully portrayed a troubled, passionate man, received 3 Tony nominations for his stage acting in Oklahoma. He has 100 screen credits, including Young Sheldon and Buffy and Oppenheimer, And we will see him again on Voyager and Enterprise. Yes! And Tin Man played himself. Tin Man, which reminds you that troubled people can also be heroes in space as well, gets a whopping score of 85. Thanks for viewing. Be sure to leave those comments below, click that like button, the share button, that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.